See that we got 5 views on that last podcast, 5 downloads.
Oh, I did not. Look at us being popular.
So good.
Yeah, I've been trying to tag it in a certain way.
Have you been trying to, I don't know, connect Apple Podcast, or was that just something you said you would do and then you just lied?
Got him.
Shut up.
I can hear us. I don't hear
I haven't heard Flippo
Reed
at all.
or Flippo.
Okay, Reed,
I haven't talked. So this is me.
I'm trying to switch it real quick.
My chance to
Oh, there
talk.
he is.
Can Devin hear me? If he can hear me, nod his head.
I think he heard you.
That was
If you
such
can
a,
hear me, shake
such a
his
long
dick.
delay.
It was no, sorry. I heard you, but I couldn't tell if I was hearing you from the Discord or you from the video, and so I was like, oh god, because everything was happening at the same time. It was real. It was a real big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I'm going to hit record.
And 3, and 2, and 1, and hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us with the Cape Complainers podcast. I am your wonderful, beautiful host, Greg, and today I have with me all the others. Others, say hi. That's
Not
enough.
beautiful people,
That's enough.
right?
Greg, you sound like you reverse puberty.
Yeah.
It sounds like I hear an echo coming from your end, Devin.
Devin.
Like,
Me
wow.
too. I heard it when I
Just saying.
restarted.
Yeah,
Me?
just saying. Devin.
Yeah,
Yes,
you,
it's
Devin.
always.
I don't know what you want from me.
I want you
All
to
right,
fix
well,
it, man.
Your screen
Well,
on
Today's
checked-
episode. Today's episode, we will be discussing the newest TMNT film, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. But before we do that, we have the always popular, the always stupid, Devin's thoughts.
Hold on. One of those is true, and one of those is a lie.
Yeah, 2 truths and a lie. It's amazing. It's moronic, and it's just our favorite part.
Did you say erotic? Because in
I
that
said
case, I
moronic.
think there's 2 truths in there.
Yeah, there we go. It's always erotic. All right, Devin, what is your thought?
I have 2
Today.
different things.
Oh God.
You only have
Jesus.
time for one.
Actually, they're not so bad.
Depending on
yeah.
how bad they are, you may have one thought.
Yeah, you have
You guys-
patience. You have patience for one.
Have you
Yeah.
heard of girl math?
Girl math. Oh, you actually wanted to talk about that? I thought that
did.
I heard
Oh,
about
that
it for the
No.
first time today when you shared that TikTok.
Yeah,
It's
Is this the same
so-
thing like the Roman army, Roman Empire?
I guess so.
No, no. It's like a justification of like how you spend money poorly.
Devin,
Yes,
Devin.
Tim, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say really fast, Flippo, you sound amazing. I don't know
I
what
know,
mic setup you have right now, but
10 out
chef's
of
kiss,
10.
baby. Did you upgrade
Bruh,
that
I'm
hamster
u-
to
I'm
like a
used-
dog wheel or something?
I'm using my game deck
Oh, okay.
on my PlayStation.
Sounds great.
Wonderful. So as usual, Devin is the worst sounding one out of all of us because
Yeah,
we can hear ourselves
I
talk
know.
as well.
I don't know how because it's coming through this and this.
Yeah.
Nothing
Well,
else.
how loud is your headset?
I turned my headset down just now. Does that help?
Okay. Well, how about this for a thought? Turn your shit down, and and so we don't have to hear the echo.
Or maybe
All right. What's your thought?
between
So girl
Turn
math.
this,
between
about to
this
turn this
week
kid down.
between this week and next week, can you swap over to this mic, Devin, versus that mic?
Yeah, I gotta find it. Casey's
Okay.
borrowed it and other stuff, so I gotta see if she's even brought it home.
Oh, okay.
Gee,
Well,
Um,
to
She started
branch
her
away
own
from that
podcast.
I guess. Or
To
a
branch
murder
away
mystery
from the behind
podcast
the
because that's all
scenes.
she's about.
what is your so your thought is girl math?
Oh.
well, like,
Ex-
are you like okay? So it's like, you like buy something and it's like $60, and then you return it, and you get 50 of that money back. So you only spent $10 originally. So now you have $50 more that you can spend on something else, right? Or the one. Or
No,
the one
this-
that I showed you, or the
this
one
is
that I
real.
sent in that video that was literally like, hey, I got $20 off because I spent $200 on this thing, so I got a free $20. But in order to use this free $20, I've got to spend $40 more. So to get $20, I have to spend $240.
Okay.
I
Yes,
got a
Tim.
comment. So, in addition to girl math, can we do Devin math, where I can hear him twice when he's just trying to talk once?
Yeah, it's multiplication.
Yeah.
if
Okay.
anything. Yeah.
Because it's also
Yeah.
repeating what you're saying now, Devin. I don't know what
Yeah,
you did
so-
in between last week and this week.
I didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
You did.
Like my literally,
Alright.
I turn off my
He did.
computer right after the podcast.
He did girl
So
math.
Oh, that's what it
So
was.
Yeah.
what prompted you to bring this up? Like, is it something that bothers you? Because
It
honestly,
does bother me.
I'm probably guilty of girl math myself. I do like if I buy something online and it says, "Oh, you get free shipping if you spend $60 or more." I'm just like, well, shit, I need to spend $60 because I don't want to pay shipping. So if that's girl math, then call me Susan.
Yeah,
And
if that's girl
I gotta
math,
be honest
I'm
with you, that doesn't
Tiffany.
surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Because that actually makes a
guess
lot of
it's-
sense. If
I guess it's
shipping
more
and handling-
gimmick math now. Just it's a
Yeah.
gimmick. You fell
Yeah,
for it.
but like,
if shipping
your
and
shipping is
handling
only
is $16, then why not add $20 to get two things? And
Yeah.
it's just $4 more.
or use Amazon Prime and don't pay for anything.
Or don't pay for Amazon Prime and don't, do that.
Well, yeah. So yeah, Devin, you're doing girl math right then.
Yeah.
Because everything is free, but Prime,
yeah.
Amazon Prime is a subscription that you pay for.
Yeah, but
Welcome
he's
to the
not paying
paradox.
for it at the same time as paying for his item, you know?
Yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
discount, guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so explain like again. I asked this
I
question.
think what
why-
bothers me
why?
is the extent to which people will justify it.
Exactly.
Like, like, I mean, I think that my wife does it.
Now,
You can hear me.
I don't know. Thank
my
God
wife-
she doesn't
my
watch
wife
the
does
podcast.
the same thing. She showed me this whole girl math trend on TikTok. I'm like, this is infuriating me because it's
It
dumb.
does.
Yeah.
It does. Because then you're like, I'm trying to save money, and then it's like, but also I just spent like $600 because I could get like $10 from like some stupid store that I don't need more clothes for.
But
Well,
Like-
to be fair, women do pay a lot more for things than we do. Like, I went to Sephora with my girlfriend. Good Lord. Like a tube of lipstick is like $60. So, I mean, it's just in their world, probably that's justified. Like you could buy 2 bras for like $100. And then, you
Well,
also
if you
get
want the
$20
good bras, you can go to Walmart and get a 3-pack for
Yeah,
$23.
just go to
I think.
Goodwill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just go
like-
to Goodwill and get a used one, and that's like $5.
If you
Yeah,
want to
I
live like a freaking like empress, yeah, sure, go to Sephora, get all that stuff. But like, your common peoples, go to the dollar store.
well,
Did you just call your wife a common
Oh
person?
my God.
You're digging yourself a hole.
I
for
know.
this
I'm gonna
episode,
tell
Devin.
Casey to
Like,
watch
Jesus.
just the first 10 minutes
it.
of this.
Do it.
Yeah,
I also want to say that calling it a trend like this doesn't make any sense to me because these have been things that have been around for like I mentioned this before we started for forever, and I used yogurt, like frozen yogurt, as an example. They've always had a punch card where you buy 10 yogurts, you get one free. And so, like after you get that first punch, everybody's literally going back to get the other 9 just to get one free one. So
yeah. I think we're all guilty of girl math in different ways. like me with free shipping, the punch card for certain restaurants. We're all guilty of it.
I don't know if Flippo's guilty of girl math. I feel like shit just falls in Flippo's lap. He's like,
Oh,
I got
no,
this
I
3D printer
I am
out of nowhere.
I am super guilty because up in Wichita Falls, the Goodwill had a cash back card.
Ooh, nice.
For every $10 you spent, you got $1 back.
oh my god.
That's awesome.
That's just like having the 10% off.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, agree to disagree. I think girl math is just all of us trying to get the best deal we can.
Well, don't
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I don't think that it's just like girls that do it. That's just what the trend is called. It's called girl math.
I don't know, because before this started, you said you personally said, Devin, that women do it more.
No, I said
You
I said
personally
the
said
reason
it.
people
Those
call
words
it.
came out of your mouth.
No, that is not what I said because A, you stopped me. Would be
Wow.
I meant it in terms of like I think that like the logic behind it is that people view it as women do it more, not specifically me.
Okay. Well, what on earth is your second thought?
Feel
If it's
free to
anything
not
like-
elaborate on it, though.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not
I'm
bad.
just-
Okay.
I'm just disappointed that like
White people don't
The-
get enough rights anymore.
No.
It's not
I know. I used to be treated special in this country.
I
I'm
was
just
a king.
disappointed that the cartoon like animation style has gone so far downhill since the 90s. Because I've been watching Gargoyles recently,
Mhm.
and that shit's like mwah, like details out the butt.
Yeah, but
and
it's also
great.
remastered.
I don't care.
Well, no, I think he means just like the original art. Like
I
it's
think-
it's
Yeah.
very like it's very crisp. Like these are people drawn, like old style X-Men show where it's like it was good animated.
I think I got
And
the
now
response
you
for
get
Devin.
things- Okay.
Right. Okay, Boomer. Can we all just
Oh,
agree?
okay.
Okay, Boomer. Can we just...
Thanks.
Where we-
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I do agree with Devin. There are certain shows now that I like to call the Family Guy art style, where it's just like they all look the same nowadays, and it's just there's no like actual art to it. I mean, some of them are creative. Like I think there's a show called Steven Universe. Whenever it first came out, it had like a lot of like the art style that I'm just like, okay, we've already seen this before. But it did it in an interesting way that like they moved it very nicely. So I think
But it's
it just
still the
depends
same
on
art
the quality.
style. It's still
I
that
agree.
same like, hey,
Yeah.
we've seen this, right? I miss like they try to get as realistic as possible while still putting like their own spin on it. Because I get it, like the guns and stuff during the time period because of like TV rules and whatnot, they couldn't
Like,
keep.
do y'all remember the original Thundercats? Like it was very cool art style and everything. And a few years ago they tried to do a reboot of Thundercats, and it was just really dumb drawn art style, and it was just silly. And I feel like I agree. This is a good thought, Devin. This is
Thank
something
you.
that I have noticed.
Suck it,
So
everyone
good job.
else.
So good job. You've won one complainer over.
And you know what? The other half of this is as I've been watching Gargoyles. This is probably the one where you guys are gonna be like, you should stop talking. You know how like when you watch shows like cartoons and stuff, you're like, hey, if that person were real, like,
All right, you should
You know what
stop
I'm
talking. You definitely should stop talking. This
She's
isn't going to be a
14,
platform.
Devin.
I'm just saying that like when people
You
were, like,
fantasize about gargoyles, don't you?
No, it's not the Gargoyles. It's the detective, Elisa Manza. Like, she never got enough credit.
You know your wife can hear you, like you said, right?
Yeah. She's looking in the mirror. Why can't you be like her? But no, I mean, that's a little too far. I don't want to give you a platform to say, oh, animated characters are my thing.
I mean, they're not. I just thought, like, when you think back on, like,
I don't
who
know.
was your first childhood crush, and people are like, oh, you know this person from this anime and stuff like that. I know Tim's got a plethora of them. Little anime girls and little tight things. Like, Tim.
Nah.
For those who can't see, Tim is shaking his head.
I
Redacted.
love
Needs of
anime.
sweat.
I love anime. Have never had a crush on an anime person. I will
Yeah,
say
Devin,
I will
go
say
ahead.
that when I was a child, the girl in Danny Phantom.
Oh,
I
yeah?
think that's why I have a crush on goth girls. Yes.
Oh, there's so many when we were growing.
Yeah, they were all over
I
the place.
agree. Yeah.
I want to complain now. I have a thought. Where did the goth girls go?
They're working at IHOP now.
Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
shoot.
I mean, here's the thing. Devin, if we search your computer and it's just a lot of Rule 34,
Was that?
What's wrong?
you know exactly.
I honestly don't know what that is.
Well, I'm going to blow your mind. Google that detective character and just write Rule 34.
I'm just
and
gonna
your
Google
mind will
Rule
just-
34. Is it porn?
It's basically if
Oh,
it
got
exists,
it.
there is a porn.
Yeah.
If it exists, there is a porn of it.
I think
Tim
you
has
told me about
been-
this once before.
Him has just been
About
put
it.
on a list.
I know you
His
told me about it
computer
once
is being
before. You told me about it once before, and I didn't leave the house for like a week.
It was so traumatic. I erased it from my memory.
Yeah, traumatic.
Yeah.
As soon as I type Rule 34 and hit enter in Google, the first thing is Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn of it.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
That's the rule.
That's
Um,
Reed's doing that on his work computer.
I know.
No, it's my home computer.
Sure.
You get a call from your boss, like, Reed, we're gonna have to talk.
He pulls
I'm
you
into
in.
this too.
Mom, I'm 30.
He pulls you in. He's like, "Hey, have you heard of Family Guy Rule 34? Get over here."
Speaking of
Share this
which,
experience.
Meg's having a baby because season 22 premieres
Saw that.
tonight, and Meg has a baby.
And there's probably a Rule 34 about it.
Speaking of premieres, it's
Oh.
October 1st. You know what that means, Greg?
It's spooky month.
Oh,
But also,
No, you
But also-
do not bring up that name. Do not bring up that name.
movie Halloween.
Get that out of here.
good God.
It's the month it's redemption month.
Do you guys
You will-
think that Greg
you
has
will
looked up
be
a Rule
doing-
34 about Hubie Halloween?
Probably.
Instantly. I did it while I was
He
watching.
probably made it himself.
I know. I'm the page admin.
Are we going to do a review of Hubie again this year?
I would like to.
I think it's a fun tradition.
I imagine
If there's
next
nothing
week-
else to do,
Yeah, I
Tradition.
imagine
We've
for
only
next
done
week-
it once.
Everybody knows that I really hate that movie, but I think this is a fun tradition.
Maybe this is the year Tim comes around.
I just didn't know
No.
the tradition meant one time.
We'll
'Cause I
do it
know we
every
were gonna-
year, and we'll see if Tim comes around.
Because we
Whenever I
started
went-
watching it together and Greg fell asleep.
Oh yeah. Well, whenever I went to, I was tired, but whenever I went to Orlando, I downloaded it on my phone so I could watch it. on the way there. It's a great movie. All right, but
That's
let's go
awesome.
ahead and drift into our topic. Today's episode, as we said at the beginning of the show, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem. It's the newest kind of this generation Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it is interesting. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on it. I definitely don't think it was made for us. This was definitely a this generation's TMNT. But it was still fun. But
Yeah,
what about
I'm confused. I'm confused about all the other mutants because
Yeah.
if they want this to continue, they used all the villains originally. Now they're all friends and buddy.
Yeah, they made them good. That really surprised me too,
Yeah.
especially the Bebop and Rocksteady. I'm like, y'all are good now?
Yeah, so I don't know where they're going to go with this.
Well, yeah. Well, the end credit scene, we're going right to the end of the movie at the beginning.
Sure.
Uh,
We'll go
at, the,
backwards.
at the end credit scene, they introduce Shredder. That
Right.
bring in the Shredder,
Oh,
and
no.
so that's the sequel. But
forgot
I
about
do agree with you, Reed. It was weird that they turned all of these villains into allies.
But
And, like, they
also,
all-
I don't think any of them were like, they wouldn't be like big lead villains on their own. Like
Bebop and
Bebop and
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, they're
I
henchmen
think
at
so.
best.
Well,
They're always
still,
henchmen at best.
yeah. Well, they're still good enough characters to where they could at least carry on being villains.
Or,
they're my favorite ones.
Yeah. I don't know. I do agree with Reed. That was a strange choice, but
I think it
um,
subseeded expectations. Is that what it's called? Subseeded or
Like was better than your
Succeeded?
expectations? Yeah.
like it? What'd you say, Devin?
Like
surpassed.
it's better than your expectations?
No,
Surpassed them?
it undercut our expectations. Like we expected them to be bad guys, but then boom, tricked ya. They're good
Yeah,
guys.
good guys.
I
Yeah.
actually really liked that. I thought it was a good twist.
Yeah, it's obviously a new telling of it. I want to compare it to the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show, where it's the same characters but a lot of their stuff has changed. And so I think it's like I said, it's not our TMNT. It's for the new people.
Yeah.
And
I'm wondering if they're all going to become one big team and go after Shredder and Foot Clan.
yeah, that's a possibility.
Maybe Shredder's going to team up with somebody like Krang or somebody comes in, some other
Yeah.
big villain, and
Well,
they
that's-
all.
It's interesting that you brought up Krang because the Michael Bay TMNT, I think that's where they went wrong. they brought in Krang too early, and like he was like the villain of the second movie. And I was just like, maybe y'all should have built to that. And one, those aren't great movies to begin with, but still,
Yeah.
I think they brought it in too early. I think Shredder as a standalone, just the Shredder and the foot, that would be a good enough sequel that I don't think they need to add another villain.
Well, for
But I
this,
think,
for the Mutant
yeah,
Mayhem sequel.
yeah, I think you're onto something with them all teaming up. And who knows, maybe Shredder will corrupt some of these newfound
I was
good
Oh,
guys.
most likely.
I was gonna say that too.
Yeah.
He's gonna appeal to them somehow.
Yeah, like find a way to
I also
but
think that maybe like in order to correct that, like the turtles have it good, they're accepted by the public and everything else. Like they're in school, but maybe the other ones don't quite fit in, and so that's when they turn to the dark side.
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, that's a possibility too.
Because they're
Um,
outshined.
Yeah. My first big complaint is, I think I've said this before, but I think it's weird how a lot of animated films are basically taking the Into the Spider-Verse animation style and using it. Puss in Boots did it with their sequel, The Last Wish. TMNT is now the new one I mean, watching it, all I thought about was Into the Spider-Verse. Like this just looks, it's pretty much the same animation style.
And it was a banging soundtrack too. Like,
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was a good soundtrack. I feel like you were going to say something, Devin. Like
I was gonna say I liked it. I see that it is similar, but I don't think it's as hardcore as the Into the Spider-Verse animation was, but it is very, very similar in that comic book-esque style. But recent, a couple movies have done it, but I feel like it is the new thing that people are trying to do with some of these comic book animated movies. And I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Is it
I feel
wrong?
like I don't think it's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, they've done it in a different way each time, but you can still tell because Into the Spider-Verse they have like that little, I don't want to say stop motion look, but it's kind of like jumpy animation. Puss in Boots did it because they said like, oh, it's a storybook and it's the same kind of jumpy animation. And now this one's doing it because it's a comic book. They're doing the same jumpy animation. I don't know. They're doing it different enough, but that's all I think about while I'm watching these movies.
Maybe
is
I didn't see it. I didn't see a whole lot of the jumpy stop motion esque animation in this movie. I felt like the animation itself was rather fluid. It was just the art style that was copied. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, maybe go back and watch it again. But
I
definitely saw it a lot. While it's just, I get it. We're doing books, and you want it to look stylized. Unfortunately, Into the Spider-Verse did it so well, I think, that now every time I see this animation style, I'm just associating it with it.
But also, I
gotcha.
think if they didn't do this animation style, they probably would have done something like the freaking like Steven Universe and all that animation style, like the same animation style as everything else, and it would have been less interesting to watch.
What did y'all think about the actual decision to make the TMNT teenagers?
I liked it.
What were y'all thoughts?
The name, I was gonna say, I like how they made them young. It's hard to see that in the other creations of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're just big turtles, but they're silly and say they're young and new to the world. But
they say they're teens, but they are grown ass men.
Yeah,
I think
their
I think their ages in this movie they're 15. And all the other incarnations, I think they were like 18, or like they sounded 18.
Yeah, but they're also really big for being, teenage. So you lose that sight of them because it just looks like they're just silly, and not just young. And so I like how they did it here, emphasizing more than previous makings on the teenage.
I also liked it because they were silly in that young way in which hey, let's try and do this stupid thing that we know we shouldn't be doing, but let's do it anyway.
Throwing the Ninja Star at the watermelon,
yeah. And it did make me feel old. It did make me feel old though, because they used a lot of this generation's slang. and all that stuff. So like whenever they would say something like, "Oh, he's Fetty Whopping me," I'm just like, "What the hell is what's a Fetty Whop?" And like I felt old googling Fetty Whop, and it's just like, okay, great. But
hey, for all those other listeners not familiar, what is Fetty Wap?
But yeah, but so like the slang was this gen, but like all the music was from our growing up phase.
yeah,
Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah.
Ice Cube.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his name, but I almost said Superfly.
It's the same guy.
Yeah. I almost said Superfly is what I meant to say, because I couldn't think of Ice Cube at the time.
What did you guys think about? Like, I loved this personally, but what did you think about Jackie Chan being Master Splinter?
Loved it.
I liked it. I love Jackie Chan, and I thought it was cool during the Splinter fight. He actually ran and fought like Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
like,
that's what Devin said too.
The whole fight was going on. I'm just like, oh my god, it's like I'm watching Drunken Master.
It was all improvised, like fighting.
It was really neat. Yeah,
I didn't catch it or not. Did they use Jackie Chan films in the beginning during the training montage?
I don't think all of it. I don't think I saw any Jackie Chan films.
Yeah, I don't
remember. We came in late, Devin.
I went back and watched the beginning of what I missed when it came to Paramount.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I was gonna rewatch it before we did this again, but no, I don't remember a Jackie Chan movie playing.
I think it was all like self-defense videos of the time, and so like that one of them was like an aerobics video, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I thought that was an interesting choice too. That they changed Splinter being a actual like martial arts master to where he had to learn it too.
Yeah,
like he didn't know anything. He was just
to where he has a dad bod. Yeah.
I
like the innocence that they gave Splinter as well. You know, he's just an old grandfather, sort of character, but then he comes out with this badass fighting and stuff like that. But he wasn't serious. He'd always played serious and follow these rules or you're in trouble. It was just more from like a caring grandfather role.
Yeah, there were also several like adult jokes throughout the movie that I really thought were funny. Like whenever they just escaped the little thing where they were getting their mutagen drained from them. It was like, oh yeah, and that lady milked us.
They're milking it.
And Jackie Chan looks, he's like,
what is that machine? Yeah.
That's where she milked us. It's like, what? But
the machine was called the like milker or something.
The Mega Milker 3000 or something.
Yeah, because Splinter was always saying that just like they're gonna try, like don't trust the humans. They're gonna try to milk you, and they actually did.
How are they gonna milk us? We don't have what they say. We're not mammals.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was
Good times.
It was a fun movie. I thought Ice Cube did a phenomenal job as Superfly. Like he was actually really fun to watch, and also like a very good villain.
Just the voice fit the character too.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to be the main villain. I thought Baxter Stockman was going to still be alive, and that he was still going to be the villain. But it just turned out that it was just Superfly he was the big bad.
I thought it was just going to be the what are they, ICRE or the lab?
Yeah, what is that lab called? I don't know. Let me look.
ITCR.
TCRI. I thought they were going to be the only villain, and I thought Superfly was going to turn good along with all of his family. And they would all just mutant power join together, beat up this evil black site organization. Nope.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you milk enough things, you can always become the bad guy.
Get over here, Devin. Let me milk you.
No.
Yeah. But okay. So
Devin, let me be evil and milk you.
I know.
Yeah. What were some other complaints that we had about the movie?
I don't care for Seth Rogen doing voiceover work.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
But I do really like his like comic book adaptations of things because he's been.
Yeah, I just didn't care for him as Bebop.
Yeah, I don't like his laugh.
Who played Rocksteady?
John Cena.
Yeah.
And then Paul Rudd played Chameleon.
Yes, that was hilarious.
Yeah, I like him.
The Gecko.
Paul Rudd?
Something Gecko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Gecko.
Groovy
he's
Gecko,
awesome.
something like that.
Mando or
I'm
something. Mundo.
Yeah, Mando Gecko. Mando Gecko. That's what it was.
That was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I feel like they still have a decent number of people that they can make like mutants that they could bring that back into this world. There are like 2 other evil turtles.
Yeah.
Like big old things and
Flash, right, is one. Or
Yeah.
Speaking of the mutants, I think there might have just been too many because there was no real like for example, one of the characters, Genghis Frog. Like he maybe had like 3 lines in the whole movie. It's just like, why even include him? And Post Malone, he basically just sang everything.
Is that who that was?
Yeah, Post Malone was what's his name? Ray Fillet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, the Stingray.
Yeah.
Ray Fillet. I thought that was a very creative name.
Yeah. Do y'all ever watch What We Do in the Shadows?
Yeah.
I did.
The girl who plays the girl vampire, her name is Natasha Demetrio.
Yeah.
She voices Wingnut in this movie.
Oh.
And I really want to see if she does any other work because she just did the same character from What We Do in the Shadows. And I'm just like, is that really how you just sound? Or like all that stuff, but I don't know.
What you don't know is that Wingnut is actually her in vampire form, just coming to hang out with a new crew.
There you go.
That's maybe why they chose her too.
Yeah.
That,
but
like a little
I think
Easter egg.
Yeah, it was cool seeing all the mutants, but there were just like Leatherhead, for example, served no purpose. Genghis Frog served no purpose. I think if it was just Mondo Gecko, Superfly,
hang on,
Rocksteady and Bebop,
if it wasn't for the Genghis Frog, that delivery guy wouldn't have gotten the ooze far enough to get to the turtle's hands. Okay, he hopped his way all the way down the street, Greg, and used his tongue like Spider-Man uses his whips.
He hopped his way down the street and as well into our hearts. But I'm just saying, if it just seemed like too big of a roster, and they served very little purpose in the story.
And that's why I'm sort of concerned with showing the full hand of all these characters, not villains right now, but what are they going to do next with them? They've introduced them all at the end. At the end of the movie, they're all living together in the sewers.
Yeah, they're all friends now. It's just like they've wrote themselves into a 2-movie franchise.
Yeah,
well, they could always justify somehow making them into villains and giving them character growth and arcs, which would make it way more appealing to watch them as villains later.
Yeah,
on.
I'm wondering if that's how Shredder appeals to them. He somehow gives them more power.
Oh.
I'm going to picture.
Yeah,
I'm going to picture Shredder. He finds a way to turn the public against the Turtles, and probably their new found allies against the Turtles as well.
I think Shredder might pretend to kill some of those allies, but actually kidnap them and somehow brainwash them.
Yeah, just something. It just seems silly that we have to come up with an excuse that okay, we used all the villains. How can we turn them back into villains?
But again, they didn't use all the villains. They put a few in there. But they have such a big...
And villains who start out good guys and we watch them turn into villains are the best villains, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
more specifically, ones that are bad, then go good, then go bad again.
And then good again.
It wasn't for me.
But, without that big group, Master Splinter wouldn't have found a little cockroach lover.
That was
oh my god, it's so nasty.
I was like, I could have gone this whole movie without seeing that. That was just silly.
Do you know how hard it is to find other mutants my age?
I do. One of my complaints is I didn't care much for the whole April O'Neil. They did not live up to par with everything else, I felt.
Yeah, it's a different kind of April O'Neil. than what we've seen in the past. Like, one, they de-aged, like it's a different aged thing. Like she is now teenage as well as the turtles, which in the past I think April was like
in her
20,
20s,
or like
Yeah,
like at least.
originally.
So they're just trying to find a way to throw her in. I thought
I think they're
weird.
just trying to give a turtle a love interest so that they'll have a reason to fight for them. But like,
it's not the first time. In some of the Nickelodeon cartoons, Donatello does have a crush on April O'Neil.
Who doesn't? Am I right?
But it's it was weird just because, like, yeah, it's kind of just a forced romance that didn't really need to happen. But I don't know. Actually, no. Leonardo had the crush on April, didn't she? Yeah. In the other cartoon, Donatello had the crush on April. But yeah, I agree with you that is kind of a different change to April that may not have gone well with some people, but whatever.
It just really wasn't that strong in this movie either.
Yeah.
So I think that's why Devin's saying that, because it wasn't strong enough, so it really wasn't anything to carry the movie.
Yeah. One of my students came up to me with a picture from the end of the movie, and they were like, "Hey, Mr. Farnsworth, you have the same drip as Michelangelo does." Because the end of the movie, when they're going to school, he's just in Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
And that's exclusively what I wear to work is Hawaiian shirts.
I would have looked at the children and be like, "What is a drip?"
If I hadn't heard it so much already,
like,
and
did I spill something on me? What is this?
If I didn't figure out what it was already from context, I would have been okay.
Yeah, I try to be hip with the kid lingo nowadays, but it changes so fast. And like this movie threw so many new lingos. Like I constantly was pausing and Googling, like, what does this mean? Like, I don't know.
Dude, you don't even you really don't even know. Cause like being a teacher, I feel like I've gone through like 6 generations of different lingo and I still don't know what half of them mean. I know Christy tries to use it at work. She'll use like eat or ate or whatever it is. And I'll be like, eat what? Eat what?
What?
This is a video.
What did you like? Eat rough?
Yeah, that eats like it's really good.
Oh, that eats. Okay.
And then no cap.
No cap.
Yeah, no. I know what no cap is. I know that.
All facts.
Yeah, no lie.
I still think that lit is something that they say, and it's not.
Yeah, man, I still try to say like
I know.
Like, oh, this shit slaps. Like I try to. I think kids still say that.
So the synonym to that is eat. Oh, this eats. Yeah.
Oh, this eats. Dude, this eats so hard.
Man, this podcast eats, dude.
Oh man, check out the Cape Complainers.
No cap.
We eat no cap, Teddy Wop.
Oh God.
We're hip.
We're Mando.
Okay, so let's kind of go into final thoughts a little bit. We talked a lot about the animation. We talked about the characters and all that stuff. How does the movie fare as the TMNT universe goes? Like, how would you rate this as a new, like, what is the best TMNT so far?
Or are you talking about movies, or are you talking about like movies and TV shows and
movies and TV shows?
TMNT content.
Yeah, like now that this new TMNT has entered the universe, how does it fare against the others? Yeah, go ahead.
Does this include TMNT Rule 34?
Yes.
Well, then I think we all know what we're going to vote for, Greg.
All right. Well, no. Rule 34 is excluded from the universe of TMNT.
Dang it!
For the podcast.
Yeah, for the podcast. Well, for me, I'll always have a special place in my heart for the original live action. I thought those were the most turtle-like movies for me.
Go, like
dude, I love that they added that to this movie.
Yeah, like the first movie is great. Secret of the Ooze is okay. I used to love the third one, where I think it's Turtles in Time, but that one's not very good anymore. But for me, that is the quintessential TMNT. And now, compared to this one, I think it's nice that the turtles they're relatable in any age. Like any time, any age, the turtles will probably stand the test of time. That you can throw them in any situation and they'll still be the core turtles that they've always been. So that's cool to see. Tim.
I'm going to agree with you. I think those 80s and 90s TMNT movies, quintessential. They are, and I think at this point it's mostly just nostalgia. Watching it. I used to watch those movies all the time as a kid. I had the VHSs, and I would just repeat. Loved them. I don't think there's really been any other good, quote unquote, good TMNT movie since them until this one. And I think this is a good one to carry the torch. And I hope to see like a sequel and a trilogy, and because I think it was very teenage-y, and I think they captured the essence of teenagerism way better than those 80s and 90s, because they were literally adults in rubber suits. But I think and the storyline was so much more creative in this one than they used to be. But yeah, I would say this is a close second to that trilogy. And I would disagree with you. Lost in Time? You are a crazy guy if you say it doesn't hold up to the test of time.
I'm saying that used to be my favorite one. Now I don't think I could finish it. Like, I don't know. It's a little too non-turtly.
Too cringe for you.
You're cringe.
And apparently
those three eat.
If it was going to get a fourth movie, apparently it was going to take place in the future.
Well, they did have that TMNT TV show, which was based on the same universe as those three movies, where they introduced the green bandana turtle, the girl. You guys remember that?
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
That TV show sucked.
Yeah. Well, they did a crossover with the Power Rangers too.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's a good movie. I think it stands up well against those three. I don't think there's been another good TMNT movie since those three until this one.
Well, we've only had like 3 since then.
Yeah, the Michael Bay ones were trash.
Yeah.
The best part about the Michael Bay ones is when they're in the elevator doing the jamming out with the weapons.
Yeah.
DJ
They had the original trilogy. They did that animated one that was just called TMNT. And then,
right.
That was okay.
Yeah.
And then the Michael Bay ones, and now this one.
Yeah.
What about you, Flippo? What is your favorite, and how does it stand up against Mutant Mayhem?
Oh, my favorite's the first one.
I feel
hands
like
down. Hands down is the first one. And then the close second's the new one.
Yeah. So you think it compares very well? Like, it stands up with Mutant Mayhem and
for sure. I think it's of this generation. It's like our first one.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that statement, because I think the reason why we love the other ones so much, because that was our Turtles. That's what introduced us to it.
Let me say, I think a 2000s version of the Turtles would have been better for us than the 80s, 90s ones, because we did have much different slang than they used in those movies when I grew up.
Radical.
And I think that's what the
Cowabunga, dude.
Yeah.
I think that's what the Michael Bay films tried to be, but they missed the mark.
Yeah, but they sucked.
It would have been. I would have liked the movies more if the Turtles didn't look the way they did. Like, I hated the way they looked in Michael Bay.
I hated the entire storyline of the first one. It was just so half-butted, I think.
The one thing that I did like about the Michael Bay films, other than the elevator scene, it's kind of going off what Greg said. I didn't like their overall look, but I liked the customization of each turtle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like how they each had certain things about their own. Yeah.
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 Like I like that part, but their overall look was like.
Yeah, like Donnie had a lot of tech on him and everything. Raph, he had like cracks and like lost
Like
courage.
he had gotten into a lot of fights, yeah.
Yeah.
That's also the first time that we started seeing the Ninja Turtles having different mask styles and not just the over the eye though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, full cap, skull cap.
I don't think we heard Devin. Devin, what is your quintessential turtle and how does it compare to the new one?
If I'm talking just movies, and I'm bringing out and I'm taking nostalgia out of the equation, I think I like this one the best. If nostalgia is not in the equation. But I think that like overall, my favorite turtle version ever is going to be from like the original, not the original, but like some of the old cartoons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think those are my favorite. I don't like the newer ones. They got rid of in this. They only said cowabunga once.
It was
And
just
then
fan service.
And then in one of the other like cartoons, they changed the catchphrase from cowabunga to booyakasha, which which I think is really fun, but it's not the same.
Yeah. All right. Well, so you would definitely say this is the quintessential turtle movie, Mutant Mayhem.
Movie, yes. Movie, yes.
Okay.
Did Reed get to answer the question?
I think Reed was next.
Oh,
I was going to be next. No, yeah, I think this one was very well done to start a new foundation for it all. As the 80s, 90s ones for us, I feel like, yeah, I agree. This is a new one. Even at the beginning of the movie, I remember seeing it and just laughing and enjoying. Like whenever they were kids, you could see the different customizations, as Devin said, between them. They're all different sizes, different shapes, and stuff like that. You know, Mikey being the very shortest one, Raph being the very round one,
the really thick one.
Yeah, and so I thought that I thought that was really great because it was very standout-ish compared to other works and stuff like that. And then also you see it as they grow up. You know, one of them has braces. Does one of them have glasses? I can't remember in this one.
Yeah,
Donnie has glasses.
Yes.
Yeah, so I figured that, and so I think it's a very great start for a new generation. But
what's your top?
Yeah, where does it stand against, or is this the top?
Yeah, I can't. I know of. I don't know if I've seen all the 80s, 90s ones. I know I've seen the first one. Still great. I did like the Michael Bay. I did like the first Michael Bay one, but then at the end, when they do the Buck against Shredder, I'm like, okay, that was stupid. So stupid. But I did enjoy that first one. But I think, yeah, this one is a trump against them all.
All right.
So can I just say real quick? Reed was talking about the different sizes of them, and I did like in this one that Raph fights completely different than all the other brothers because he is so big, and he literally just throws his body into everybody.
He did like some sumo-esque moves versus ninja moves. Because he like grabbed someone and then he did like a pile driver on him, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of fights, what about that hallway fight? Or like the one where it was cutting in between all of the crime lords?
Oh,
y'all remember?
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Yeah, pretty sweet scene.
All right, well, let's do capes. Let's start with Reed. He was the most recent to talk. Reed, what are your capes?
I mean, I gotta say, maybe with all, you know, again showing their hands with all the different mutants, maybe 8 or 9, and just worried of where it can go next. But it's got a lot of potential and hope.
Okay, all right, Devin.
I'm gonna give it a 9.
Questionably.
No, I was just thinking like the thing that stops me from getting to 10. I think the biggest thing is that I didn't really give a shit about April O'Neil.
So that you're down a point just because of April.
Well, because she should be such a big part of the universe, and she was not great.
Okay, all right. Flippo, what about you?
I 7.5.
Okay,
out of 10.
All right, Tim.
I'd give it a 9. I thought it was really good. It's really hard to get a 10 though. Right.
Yeah,
Really.
it's no Hubie Halloween.
Oh, trust me, we know it's not Hubie. It's 9 points higher than Hubie was.
What do you got, Greg?
For you, Tim, what's missing that 1 point?
I don't know. I feel like a 10 out of 10 would be like the perfect movie. There'd be no part where I was like, but I feel like there were parts where I was just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, get to the next interesting thing.
Yeah. The whole Superfly thing, being able to fuse a bunch of stuff like that was very too chaotic for me as a villain.
I was gonna say that was my favorite part, and the way that they all came together at the end and worked together, and the humans came in too. No lie, no cap, bruh, no cap. I eat it. I stand. I eat it, and also I teared up. Like I literally shed tears because the humans were like, "Hey man, you need help?" to Splinter at the end. Man,
I loved that when they like put the potion on the leg of him and that horse just went and galloped off.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I thought it was awesome that the humans participated in saving the day.
Yeah.
Because it also put like the responsibility of making tomorrow better on everybody versus 4 teenagers.
Wow,
kind of like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that's good, Tim.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty deep. Any single ladies in the area?
I bet you can find you a cockroach.
What'd you think about Splinter's mustache in the beginning?
Dude, I loved it. I loved Splinter throughout the whole thing. And whenever he was talking, whenever he threw them the pizza party and had all the Chris cut out.
Oh my god. That's fucking hilarious.
I teared up to that too. I was like, oh, the dude is just lonely and he misses his children.
He cares so much. Just whatever he could do to make
like
them
an
happy.
actual parent. Yeah.
And then they were little dicks.
Yeah.
You can order whatever you want, but it has to be pizza.
But it has to be pepperoni. Yeah.
Well, my capes. Let's see.
No one asked.
I'm kind of in the same realm as Flippo. I kind of want to give it a 7. It was fun. Obviously it wasn't made for me, but it was still an interesting addition to the Turtle universe, and I love the Ninja Turtles, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. I'm with Reed. I'm a little scared where it's going to go, but also at the same time interested because, like, I love Shredder, and I think he's going to be a very interesting addition.
So
would you watch it again?
I'd watch it again.
If Donnie made a utility thermos, would you give it a higher rating?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us today with the Cape Complainers.
Don't forget to like and follow us on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
And make sure to check out our YouTube channel and our Twitch streams where we are streaming our podcast every Sunday at 6 Central Time. And when Ben gets off his lazy booty, he'll make us shorts to go on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I thought Reed had something.
Well, we changed it. We changed it, remember?
I haven't been...
We have podcast episodes everywhere podcasts can be heard. Be sure to check them out.
And don't forget that nobody complains like a fan. Cowabunga, guys. We'll see you next time.
Booyakasha.
Booyakasha.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.